Hello, everybody. Economic Ninja here. Hope you're doing well. Just showed up to my filming spot and it started to rain. The sun has not come up yet. And instead of doing a normal video on economics or finance, I want to talk about loneliness and how to deal with it. It is a common comment that I get wherever I am in the country. When I meet people, or when I meet you, I feel so alone. I'm the only one in my group that believes the way that I believe. And as things get darker and darker in this world, I wanted to talk to you about some of my experiences and how I have coped with it, because I have gone through the exact same thing. It was my prayer for almost a decade that God put me in front of other men that were better than me so that I can become a better version of me. I constantly was looking for answers. So I would go to the internet, I would watch motivational speakers. I was always in a circle of people that didn't understand the things that I understood as I was attempting to gain knowledge of worldly things, worldly matters, the meaning to life. It caused me to actually become very upset inside, because I knew that life was way more than our kids' soccer games or who was doing what at the PTO meetings. And for 10 years, those questions did not go answer. That prayer went unanswered. Every time I thought that I would meet somebody that could help me to grow, it ended up in disappointment. I remember going to a church service one day, and the pastor said, "You need to stop expecting to get filled up." It was blaringly obvious when this happened. He said, "People, all they do is they come to church looking for answers and wanting to be filled. And they're saying, oh, I am not getting filled, so I'm going to leave this church." And this pastor said, "You need to be the one that's filling other people." And it hit me. It was just like that law of sowing and reaping. You reap what you sow. Doesn't matter if you believe in God or not. Anything you do in life, it's like garbage in your head, garbage out, right? Comes spews out of your mouth. Reaping and sowing. If I want to find people to help me in my journey of life, then I need to go and help other people. You know, I hear it from spouses all the time where husbands will say their wives think that they are crazy and they're not on board with their plans for success in the future. I hear from wives that have husbands that are completely against the same thing. It's interesting when we have relationships, whether they be friendships or marriages, it is always the opposite attracts. My best friend, Charlie, he's the total opposite of me. That's why we're friends. I love that he's so mellow, this mellow temperament. Nothing really gets to him. It's very rare that something gets to him. Whereas me, I'm on the other hand, I'm getting better at it, but man, I get fired up. The same goes for my spouse, my wife. But that can lead to you being lonely, to me being lonely. It's not loneliness is not about not having people around you. There are some people that truly do not have people around them. But I have never met one person that I found that, oh, it's your fault. It's not your fault. I mean, it's not your fault. It's usually that person has the choice. You know, I was speaking to someone the other day that it's retired and all they do is sit around their house. That's all they do. I'm like, man, you need to get up and move around. Thank God that you can walk still, you know? Um, It's funny how we get stagnant in life, and before you know it, you blink and years have gone by. And you look back on your life and it's nothing that you would ever admit to your family or friends. But you're disappointed in yourself because you know deep down inside that it was you. And sometimes we always have to take that hard look in the mirror and say, is it me? Am I the reason why I'm lonely? As things get dark in this world, and they're getting dark, I'm sure most of you would agree. All of us have something to give, something to do to fight what's going on in this world. But because and I put me in that category as well, we don't, I guess I used to be like this because I don't do it now. I chose to speak out. I chose to help others, right? And that's a choice I had to make. And it was very difficult. I fought it for years. But before that, as things get dark, we all have a voice and we all have the ability to do something. And I believe that most, especially in America, I believe that 80% at least of this country are good-hearted people that not only just want to be left alone, they want to thrive. They just don't necessarily all know how to do it. And the other 20% are made up of about 15% of people that are total fools. Honestly, you really can't get through to them. They're the ones that just run headlong into problems, just head forward. And then the other 5% are people that have evil intentions. And so I'm speaking to the 80%. I'm part of the 80%. That prayer that I asked for almost a decade for God to send men into my life to help me on this journey of life wasn't answered until I started to help others. And how did I help? And I get that it's not for everyone, but I can guarantee, getting on YouTube and making YouTube videos is not for everyone. I get that. I used to think it was. It just isn't. But I remember one day walking down the street and an elderly gentleman was coming out of the door. I opened the door, said hello and smiled, which it sounds funny, but in this day and age, it's so hard for us to just say hello and smile to everybody that walks by. We're all so tied into our own lives. But a small conversation struck up with that older gentleman. And I said something that made him really happy. I don't remember what it was, but I remember him saying, "Thank you so much. You have made my day so much better." And the way that he said it, he wasn't joking around. I've also heard comments from people that I talk to that don't know who I am, just strangers. And they say things like, "I'm so relieved that I'm not alone. I'm not the only one that feels like this." Well, the truth is, the reason why we all feel like that is because we're not speaking. We don't have to speak on YouTube. We don't have to write a blog. We just have to talk. We just have to smile. When we show empathy to others, it comes back tenfold. I sat down in a room the other day with my best friend. We were chatting, and 5 other men were in the room, and we struck up a conversation, and it was one of those, everyone's relieved because they're not the only ones that think that the country's going to crap in a handbasket. And I always walk away from those conversations feeling more uplifted. You can't break your loneliness until you help break someone else's. If you want what I believe to be the honest truth, that's how we're going to get our country back. Helping lift up other men and women in our country, the 80% that are good-hearted people, but We've lost our way in this country. And really the reason why is the mainstream media and programming. We've lost our way. You can't go anywhere, watch any movie, any TV show now without being bombarded with sinful things. People are losing their way. That's why we have so much depression in this country. The main driver, what I believe to be the main driver of depression, is people not having their way, a vision. And depression gets triggered by so many different things. But ultimately, when people have a vision, they have a dream or a goal, those are all different levels and steps of achievement, it changes them. But they can't even get to that phase if they're stuck in loneliness. And so I would encourage you to start to speak out. But when you do, start super small. It's just words of kindness. Good morning. How are you doing? That's a beautiful hat you've got on. I really like your smile. I'll tell you what, you go compliment someone's smile when they smile at you, you've completely turned their day around. Not many people say that these days. That's a really nice jacket you've got on. Something as small as that will break something free inside of you. You may not see it in yourself, but every single one of you watching this right now is a mentor. You have the ability to help or completely change somebody else's life. And the truth is, what keeps 99% of us from doing that is that we look at ourselves and go, I'm not ready. I'm not skinny enough, buff enough. I can't speak clearly enough. I can barely read. I'm talking about myself right now. Those are all things that I had to fight when I started trying to help people. And look at what's happened with me. When I used to say that I'm just a dude with a brohawk and a dream, I 100% mean it. Nothing special. Just one day, I stopped listening to what I thought of myself and what I thought the world thought of me. Yeah, I get bad comments all the time, but I thrive on the positive ones. And that's what I want you to know. You're going to get, if you step out in this world, and which is bravery, you will always have someone that hates you. If you're doing your job right, you'll have haters. But when you look at what you're doing to impact this world, to help people, that's what'll keep you going. I hope you guys got something out of this. Thank you so much for watching. The Economic Ninja is out.